Hey everybody, Patrick here from Purposeful Armament. Welcome back to PA Concepts. Today we have a video that is actually not a video newsletter. Don't worry, our newsletters are still coming out every Monday and they will continue to do so. I'm just been gone for a couple of weeks, so I'm trying to get caught back up with actually getting those recorded. So I thought that I would take a little bit of time to chat about something that I have been thinking about, and yeah, I just kind of want to get it out there. This is kind of an opinion piece. Everything on PA is our opinion, but this more so. Because I've been shooting for, man, over a decade now. I mean, I've been shooting for a very, very long time. I want to talk about that cheap gear crowd. And then I also want to talk about, American manufacturing a little bit. And we'll touch on it a smidge. But I also want to talk about balance. And this is all going to come full circle, I promise. It's all in my brain. It'll come out through my words. The vast majority of people who say that they're buying cheap gear or cheap guns in order to buy ammo to actually go and train with, don't actually go and buy ammo to go and train with. That's just kind of the reality. They just kind of stack gear, they stack guns, and they call it a day. I've said many times before, and I've been called out on it a couple of times, but I've said many times before, I would prefer to have somebody who is very well trained and a very good shooter with cheap gear, as opposed to someone who is very highly trained or who has very expensive gear, but isn't highly trained. Most people who train highly are just going to buy the more expensive gear. And I think that that is true, but it's also not really what I'm talking about. I can say anecdotally, I've had experiences where people have had incredibly expensive gear, very high-end, top-of-the-line gear, and they've been really not great shooters. And not only not great shooters, but they don't train. They don't dry fire, and you can tell when someone doesn't dry fire, by the way. So all of you out there who say, oh, I dry fire, and then you show up to the range and your draw is 2.5 seconds, we know. Okay, we know. But with that being said, I also know people who have cheaper gear and cheaper equipment who do train a lot. More along the lines of what I tell people to do is buy ammo over certain things. Buy ammo over certain things. And I'm going to be honest with you, there's some like cheap gear out there that is pretty good. Just because something is made in China or made in Vietnam or made in Taiwan or made in Thailand or made in Singapore or made in Cambodia or made in Honduras or wherever, doesn't necessarily mean that it's like bottom shelf quality that's like just crap. Oftentimes that's a good indication, but it's not always the case. And this isn't me trying to simp for like other countries' manufacturing. That's not what I'm trying to do. I would like for you to buy made in America products. I run a company that makes all of their product, all the products that we make are made in America. That's what we do. I mean, I've been shooting, I've had holosense, hell, I've had Sileys on my carry guns that I've been carrying for 2 years. My Glock 19, I've had a Siley on it for like 2 years and I've been carrying it and I've had no issues. Same thing with training. I shoot a lot. I shoot almost every other weekend. I shoot close to probably at minimum 500 rounds a month. That's on like a very slow month. I shoot a lot. I've never had an issue with like the cheaper red dots. In my opinion, you should save the $300 and get the Holosun over the Trijicon and then put that $300 into 1,000 rounds of 9mm and just go and train. Like, that's my opinion. And I have this weird thing with like misinformation, especially in the firearms space, that just really like makes me angry. Not angry, it frustrates me a little bit. Whenever people just automatically shit talk something that they have no experience with, just because of like the country of origin or like the company that it's made from, or like sometimes even the materials it's made from. I know, even though our business is small, we've had this happen many times where people like crap on 3D printing. And I'm just like, you have no idea how 3D printing works. Like, it's actually a lot better technology than it was, you know, even 5 years ago. It's significantly better technology. It's pretty good. We've put 3D printed parts on rifles and ran them pretty hard, and they've been fine. We've put them on shotguns and they've ran fine. We've put them on pistols and they've been fine. But it's people who say those kind of things and don't really know what they're talking about, or, you know, somebody sees that, oh, that optic is made in China, it must be bad. Well, not necessarily. That's not really the case. If Holostone was made here in the United States, I'd be much happier about buying it. So I understand people who are like, I just don't want to buy anything from China. I get that. I understand that. Same. That's why we are making our stuff in the United States. But say that part. There's also many cases with gear that I've bought personally. Like I bought the Type 56 reproduction from Miltech. I think I spent maybe $25 on it. It's cheap. It's made in like Vietnam or somewhere. And it is pretty sweet. I mean, it's a pretty good chest rig for AK platform rifles. It really seriously is. And I have ran that thing, and it's great. It works. So like, there's also cases where you might be trying out a new piece of gear, or you might be trying something that's like period correct, or you might be trying to gain perspective that you don't need to, or that's not available from a United States manufacturer. And also something that you don't really need a ton of, like, you don't need to spend a ton of money on. Like the actual Tri-Com chest rigs, I'm sure, are very expensive. You don't need to spend that money on it to run it unless you're a collector. So there's situations like that too, where, you know, there's some of the gear and kit that I run. Like I have a Smersh rig. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically a LBE, like that the Russians use. That's basically it. It's not authentic. It's not. It's an airsoft one, actually. To be completely honest, it's a high quality airsoft one, but it's one for airsoft. And I use it because I'm just shooting the gun on the range, and I just want the feeling of having the kit, you know, on my hips, basically. I want that feeling of having that kit there. And I know that might take some people out of it. I know that might piss some people off. Why didn't you spend $400 on a real Smersh rig? Because I don't really need to. You kind of get the idea without it being 100% genuine. I will continue to like speak that on our YouTube channel and test that. Like that's what we're doing. That's what our YouTube channel is about. It's about actually testing things, and just in the same way that I think shooting itself is a balancing act. There are two spectrums of shoot. There's a spectrum, and on one end you have people who are like grand, like I think it's grandmaster, like the top level, like national, like USPSA national title shooters. And then you have like your grandpa who literally never shoots a gun. He just has them in his closet, or he has like a shotgun by the door, loaded, like ready. You know what I mean? Wide spectrum. And believe it or not, you don't have to be a grandmaster level USPSA shooter to be like a competent shooter. In my opinion, you can be at a certain level of competency, and it's going to be up to you. It's going to be how comfortable you are. I am like maybe a B class shooter in USPSA. Like that's probably like mid B class is probably where I rank. I haven't done a classifier. That's probably where I rank. And yet I feel perfectly comfortable being able to defend myself with a firearm. I feel perfectly comfortable shooting and getting hits on targets with a firearm. And that's just me. I know people who want to be a certain USPSA level before they start carrying a gun. Or I know people who are way, way, way lower than I am in terms of skill who carry guns. I know people who probably shouldn't be carrying guns who carry guns. So it's a spectrum, and it's a balancing act. And just like with the kit and the gear choice that you choose, you have to find the balance. You have to find what's comfortable for you. Like I said, some people might want to be grandmaster level shooters, and I commend them. And yes, they are better shooters, but for me, I don't feel like I need to be that skill level to be able to defend myself. That's just me though. It could be different for other people. Again, another great example of something that we talk about as being a spectrum is like health and wellness, quite frankly. On one end of the spectrum, you have people who are bodybuilders. On the other end, you have people who are like, can't get out of bed because they are so out of shape. For me, it's a balancing act too. I don't go, for instance, my business partner, Jacob, goes way harder into like fitness and health than I do. I just do what I need to do to make sure that I'm capable enough to do like certain tasks. Like Exodus is a great example. I make sure that I'm capable of doing an event like Exodus, but like I don't go like way above and beyond and like track like macros and stuff. Like I don't do that stuff. It's not because like I don't think that it's valuable or that it's helpful, but it's just a balancing act. It's like, do I want to spend a bunch of time working on this, or do I want to spend time working on this? You know, you don't have to be a bodybuilder either. Like we're not advocating for you to be bodybuilders. We're advocating for you to be capable humans. That's basically it. And that's a balancing act. And that's why we've tried to be very careful about the way that we're saying these things, because like I said, everyone is different. There's different levels to what you're doing, whether it's in shooting, whether it's in health and wellness, whether it's with literally anything else. So I think that that's my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, if this made any sense whatsoever. And I'll see you in the next video. Remember, stay armed.